Did y'all just witness the court case that flipped Harlem upside down? Or were you too busy trying to figure out why Camron was laughing like he wrote the script himself? Because what went down in that courtroom wasn't just messy, it was legendary. Jim Jones, Harlem's own capo, sat there frozen, jaw locked, while his own son stood up and sided with Chrissy. The same woman Mama Jones swore was the downfall of the entire Dipset empire. Yeah, that Chrissy, the slap survivor, the USB drive queen, the one everyone tried to cancel, but who just might be holding the receipts to burn it all down. And Cam. Oh, he wasn't hiding it. He was full-on cracking up in court like he bought front-row seats to the implosion of the Jones family legacy, the internet melting. Judges shook, bailiffs coughing like somebody passed them tea too hot to handle. So what the hell did Chrissy say? What did Junior expose? And why does it feel like Love and Hip Hop turned into Game of Thrones, Harlem Edition, right in front of our eyes? Buckle up, because this isn't just a scandal, this is a dynasty crumbling with the cameras rolling. And baby, everyone's watching, so let's rewind and break this circus down from the beginning. Because what's happening in Harlem right now is not just a scandal, it's a full-blown legacy implosion, dipped in betrayal and sprinkled with leaked receipts. It all starts with Camron, yes, Mr. I really mean it, waltzing into the courtroom like it's a press junket for a Netflix docuseries. He's calm, posted up in the back row, giving smug villain energy like he's already read the spoilers. And Jim, poor Jim. He's posted up front, looking like somebody unplugged him. But the real twist, his son Junior, the same Junior who's been off camera, off record, and off grid for the better part of this Dipset drama. That boy walks in, straightens his tie, and basically detonates the courtroom with one sentence. Chrissy's the only one who's ever had my dad's back. Boom, case closed. Or so we thought. Let's be real, Chrissy hasn't exactly had it easy. She's been accused of everything from family manipulation to career sabotage to starting the beef between Jim and Cam in the first place. Remember, when Mama Jones launched an entire diss track calling her a gold digger with control issues? Yeah, that wasn't just petty, it was a public execution. And Chrissy, she stayed quiet for years, but now, she's talking, and she's not using her voice, she's using files. USB drives, WhatsApp messages, voice notes. And when those hit the courtroom, people didn't just gasp, they clutched pearls like it was a Tyler Perry movie. Because apparently, what's on that USB is enough to make Mona Scott rethink her whole franchise. Here's where it gets dirtier than Harlem sidewalks in July. Sources anonymous, of course. Because everyone's scared of Mama Jones, say Chrissy and Junior had been secretly communicating weeks before the court date. Not on the record. Not through lawyers, but through encrypted chats, burner numbers, and voice memos coded like spy ops. One leaked screenshot, allegedly pulled from a wiped Android device, showed Junior warning Chrissy. They're trying to flip this whole case on you. Don't trust anyone, especially not her. Now, who's her? That'd be Mama Jones. Because behind the wigs, the one-liners, and the chaotic energy, there's a mastermind, one who allegedly has been manipulating Jim's brand, like it's her personal monopoly board. Fake LLCs, shady real estate deals, even hush money payments made out of accounts tied to Dipset merch, and the kicker, Junior knew. According to a court reporter who swore on her lunch break to an anonymous gossip blogger, Junior asked the judge to speak during pretrial. No legal team, no coaching, just vibes and facts. And when he spoke, the whole courtroom leaned in like it was church. He said Chrissy never stole, never lied, and never tried to tear the family apart. In fact, she'd been the only one protecting Jim's money, career, and image from falling into the hands of people, family or not, who were eating off him like leeches in designer belts. Camron, at this point, still grinning, like the whole thing's a skit he wrote and directed. But it gets better. Because Chrissy didn't walk in empty-handed either. No, sis had receipts. Real ones. According to sources close to Chrissy's legal camp, the USB drive contained audio files of Mama Jones on the phone with what sounded like a VH1 producer, discussing how to spin Chrissy as mentally unstable for better TV. Another clip had her handing off envelopes stuffed with cash to someone labeled in the court transcript as DJX, a known Dipset affiliate previously tied to illegal party promotions. The drive also had bank statements, property transfer documents, and a folder labeled for Cam-only contents unknown, but enough to make him chuckle when it was mentioned in court. And then there's the email. Oh baby, the email. A printed Screenshot entered into evidence showed a back and forth between Mama Jones and a PR rep about staging a confrontation at a club complete with a fake camera crew, a planted witness, and a payout. If that's not production-level scandal, what is? Meanwhile, the internet was already having a meltdown. Fans who once dragged Chrissy for being too much were now editing old clips of her looking fed up and calling them signs she'd been holding it together all along. One viral TikTok even synced a moment of her sipping wine on the show with Junior's courtroom statement and dubbed it "When You Know the Truth, But Wait for Your Moment." The public opinion flipped faster than a flipped wig. And still, Jim said nothing. Silent, stoic, maybe stunned, maybe strategizing. Maybe realizing the empire he thought was built on loyalty was actually duct taped together with lies and reality TV drama, because right after Junior dropped his truth, Chrissy reached into her bag and handed the defense a sealed envelope. The judge asked her to explain, and she simply said, "I've been quiet for years. But since everyone else brought fiction, I thought I'd show some facts." Inside, emails showing unauthorized use of Jim's name in property deals. A voice memo of Mama Jones talking about running the show whether he likes it or not. And the same logo from a warehouse that was raided back in 2019 linked to Dipset merchandise violations. The courtroom wasn't just shocked, they were gagged. One of the bailiffs allegedly said, "This is better than Netflix," under his breath. And Cam, he unwrapped a Jolly Rancher and whispered, "Told y'all, but we're not done yet." Because just as the judge moved to recess for lunch, Cam's lawyer casually walked up and submitted a second folder into evidence. And before anyone could react, Junior leaned forward again, eyes locked on the judge, and said the next sentence that made the courtroom stop breathing. The air changed. Mama Jones stiffened. The stenographer hit pause. And just like that, part 2 of this Harlem soap opera was about to begin. And just like that, with the whole room frozen, Junior drops the sentence that's about to send the Dipset legacy into cardiac arrest. .com, collected, and clear as day. He says, "There's more. My father wrote a letter 2 weeks ago that y'all haven't seen yet." You could practically hear the judge's gavel hesitate midair. Mama Jones clutched her pearls like she just saw the ghost of Christmas karma. While Camron, at this point, looked like he was fighting back a laugh so hard he might pop a blood vessel. The judge, now visibly annoyed but morbidly curious, allowed the letter to be read into record. JR opened it up, hand steady, voice even. "I don't know who to trust anymore," it read. "Chrissy might be my only anchor in this mess. Tell my mother to stop acting like she's the boss of everything." And just like that, Harlem's unspoken family code crumbled in a courtroom lined with reporters and broken reputations. Now let's really peel back this mess. According to an anonymous court staffer who's definitely violating all sorts of NDAs right now, that letter wasn't just some emotional outburst. It came attached with an entire folder of hand-signed memos and bank alerts sent to Jim, warning him about unauthorized financial moves connected to entities his mother allegedly established in his name. You heard that right, Mama Jones out here, running businesses using Jim's brand like it's monopoly money. And not just little side hustles, no. We're talking event promotions, real estate ventures, and even a clothing line prototype that never got off the ground but still somehow spent $48,000 in startup costs. Guess where the money came from? One of Jim's dormant accounts that was supposed to be sealed after a previous legal issue, back in 2017. That's not a paper trail, that's a fire hazard. Meanwhile, Chrissy, she's still calm, sitting like she's been waiting for the court to catch up with her truth. And now that truth is unraveling like a thread Mama Jones can't yank back. During the lunch recess, reporters practically tackled each other outside the courthouse trying to get statements, but Chrissy didn't flinch. She walked out with Junior, both of them stone-faced, straight to a waiting SUV. One paparazzi swore she heard Chrissy say, "They don't even know about the shadow drive yet." And baby, if that ain't foreshadowing, I don't know what is. But the drama inside wasn't done cooking. When court resumed, Cam's folder was officially unsealed, and guess what it contained? Screenshots, glorious time-stamped. Messy as hell screenshots allegedly between Mama Jones and a VH1 exec, negotiating a consulting producer credit in exchange for narrative control. Translation: she wanted to spin Chrissy out of the storyline and get paid doing it. But it doesn't stop there. Included in the file was a mock production schedule featuring staged confrontations, edited interview segments, and wait for a tape plan to bring in a new female cast member described only as Chrissy 2.0, younger, more chaotic. The shade, astronomical. Back in court, the judge was visibly sweating now. Realizing he wasn't overseeing a legal proceeding anymore, this was a televised family implosion. Mama Jones' attorney jumped up trying to get the documents thrown out on the basis of unauthenticated sources. But the prosecution wasn't having it. They argued the files directly connected to the financial misappropriation allegations now circling Mama Jones like buzzards. And the moment it became financial, that's when federal investigators started sniffing around. Because once a storyline turns into embezzlement, we're no longer just throwing shade, we're filing charges. The internet, of course, exploded again. Twitter threads were unraveling like bad wigs in the wind. People started comparing Mama Jones to Kris Jenner if Kris decided to run the Kardashians like a mafia. Chrissy, suddenly, wasn't just some ex-fiancé with a temper. She was being hailed as the Harlem Harriet Tubman of hip-hop drama. One viral video showed her silently staring in court, overlaid with gospel music and the caption, "When you carry the truth and receipts in the same bag." But not everyone was celebrating. Dipset loyalists, especially older fans, began circling the wagons, defending Mama Jones as a woman protecting her son from a manipulative outsider. Think folding chairs, loud voices, and t-shirts reading "Family First, Always." Meanwhile, Chrissy's camp clapped back with shirts that simply read, "Facts First." And at this point, it's looking like we're one court date away from a versus battle in the parking lot. Inside the courtroom, though, it kept escalating. The judge ordered a temporary seal on the USB contents for forensic review, but not before another jaw-dropping clip was played. This one, allegedly recorded via phone, captured Mama Jones on speaker with someone labeled M, who many believe to be Mona Scott. In the clip, Mama allegedly says, "I don't care what Jim thinks, I built his career. Chrissy can go." And when that clip hit the speakers, the room reacted like Beyoncé had just surprise dropped an album mid-trial. One woman fainted. A journalist gasped so hard her pen flew across the aisle. And Camron actually stood up, clapped once, and sat back down like he'd just watched the final scene of a movie he secretly produced. The tension was now unbearable. Jim still hadn't spoken a word publicly, but behind the scenes, insiders say he was shattered. Sources close to the rapper revealed he had cut off phone contact with both his mother and Chrissy weeks prior, trying to stay neutral. But now, neutrality was no longer an option. With his son making public statements, his ex exposing decade-long secrets, and Cam acting like a Broadway villain with a sweet tooth, Jim was backed into a corner, and Harlem was watching. And just when the judge tried to bring the room back to order, Chrissy pulled one final move before the day ended. She handed over a flash drive labeled simply, "Truth." The judge, wary but intrigued, agreed to review it in chambers. The defense protested, but at this point, even the bailiff looked done. By the end of the day, the courtroom cleared out, but nobody left without talking. Outside, crowds had doubled. People were live streaming their reactions. TikTok lawyers were breaking down legal terms like it was first period civics. Instagram influencers were making makeup tutorials inspired by Courtroom Chrissy. And then, when nobody expected it, an anonymous Twitter account dropped what they claimed were contents of the shadow drive. Another drive. Oh yes. And this one, nuclear, allegedly containing emails, production notes, financial logs, and one particularly damning audio clip that hasn't been played yet, but according to those who've heard it, makes everything else look like a warm-up act. The script isn't just messy, now it's scandalous. Harlem hasn't seen chaos like this since the Rucker Park brawls. And in the middle of it all, Chrissy isn't flinching. She's leaning into the storm with the calm of someone who's been underestimated for too long. Junior, standing by her, like a lawyer in training. Camron clearly enjoying every second of Mama Jones getting caught in her own web. And Jim's gone quiet. Completely, no statements, no stories, no music, just silence, which, in a family this loud, is the loudest response of all. But we're not done. Because with the shadow drive leaking online, court entering closed-door sessions, and whispers of actual criminal investigations starting to form, what happens next isn't just a family feud, it's the possible fall of an empire. The next morning, Harlem woke up buzzing. The streets were quiet, but the internet was on fire. Twitter was nothing but theories, timelines, and raw courtroom leaks that somehow ended up on shady Discord servers by dawn. And that shadow drive, it wasn't a bluff. Inside that anonymous drop were screenshots, audio snippets, metadata logs, everything Chrissy had been sitting on for years. This wasn't just tea. This was boiling lava poured straight on the legacy of Dipset, with names, dates, and dollar signs so specific that even casual fans were turning into legal experts overnight. And just when you thought it couldn't get messier, the real bomb dropped. The audio clip. The one Chrissy had refused to play. The one labeled "Only play this if they try me." And someone played it. The file, grainy but clear enough, featured a phone call between two people, one with a voice almost unmistakably Mama Jones, the other sounding eerily like a love and hip-hop showrunner. In it, Mama Jones says, and I quote, "Chrissy needs to be erased, not just off the show, off the brand. If I gotta leak old tapes or fake a mental breakdown, I will." The reaction was instant. TikTok exploded with side-by-side comparisons, voice pattern analysis, even software breakdowns proving it was her voice, and the fans, oh, they weren't having it. Overnight, the same people defending Mama Jones were now digging up her old reality show clips and calling her toxic, power-hungry, and the real villain. Meanwhile, Chrissy dropped a 12-second video on Instagram. No makeup, just her sipping tea in silence. No caption, no filter. Just vibes. And that silence, louder than any diss track Dipset ever released. As the court reconvened under lockdown conditions, no phones, no media, not even a court sketch artist allowed. The mood was electric. Prosecutors now had more than family drama. They had potential witness tampering, fraudulent financial records, and something no one saw coming, a witness list update that included VH1 producers. Yes, you heard that right. VH1 staff were being subpoenaed because when reality TV becomes real-life criminal investigation, even the camera crew can't hide. One source close to the court claimed Mama Jones' legal team begged for a private mediation, but the prosecution refused. Why? Because someone likely Chrissy's camp had filed a motion to press charges tied to intentional defamation and financial sabotage. That's no longer family business. That's courtroom warfare. Back outside, Harlem looked like a movie set. Protesters, supporters, bloggers, and conspiracy theorists were all lined up in front of the courthouse like it was the BT Awards. On one side, Chrissy fans waving signs that said she built this too. On the other, loyalists holding up printed screenshots claiming the files were deep fakes. The cops had to separate the crowds. Someone even showed up dressed as a USB stick. And yes, they were escorted out. But the tension, still thick in the air. Inside the court, the judge opened the day with one sentence. Due to new developments, this is no longer a civil matter, it may involve criminal proceedings. That was the moment everything changed. Because when the legal tone shifts from petty to prison, people start sweating. Camron, still smug as ever, reportedly whispered showtime to his lawyer. Chrissy remained stone cold, flipping through her notes like she was in a business meeting. Junior leaned over to her and nodded, like he'd been preparing for this fallout his whole life. And Mama Jones, according to a court observer, she wouldn't even look Chrissy's direction. Her legal team was whispering fast. Real fast. Like, we need a deal or an exit plan fast. But the courtroom wasn't ready for what came next. Just before the lunch recess, a new witness was called. Someone labeled only as T. Simmons in the documents. But once he walked in, everyone knew. Former Dipset tour manager, longtime family insider, and now, apparently, the man holding the final match to burn it all down. He took the stand and testified under oath that Chrissy had been trying to warn Jim since 2016. He claimed she sent him spreadsheets, flagged contracts, and begged him to review expenses that didn't add up, and he ignored it. Why? Because Mama Jones allegedly told him Chrissy was unstable and trying to control the brand. The same script being spun to VH1. The same lines found in that email chain. The story wasn't just falling apart, it was being ripped at the seams. Then came the kicker. Simmons admitted he once helped set up a fake scene for the show where Chrissy and Mama Jones were supposed to accidentally run into each other at a Harlem boutique, but the confrontation turned physical. It was never supposed to get that real. He said Chrissy was devastated after, and that the crew told her to keep it cute or lose the check. That testimony turned the case from scandalous to sickening. The courtroom sat in silence. Even the judge didn't speak for a full minute. Because now, we weren't just dealing with family betrayal, we were talking about exploitation, manipulation, and a woman pushed into silence for the sake of storyline ratings. After court recessed, reporters tried to swarm Chrissy, but she vanished into a waiting car. Mama Jones didn't come out at all. Her lawyers released a statement saying, She was experiencing severe emotional distress and may step back from future proceedings. Meanwhile, VH1 finally broke their silence. A bland PR-coded note claiming they take all accusations seriously and are reviewing internal production processes. Translation: they're lawyering up. And Jim. Still no post, no comment, no song. Just that same cryptic Instagram story, this time a candle half melted, with the caption, "Only God knows the whole story." Fans weren't buying it anymore. The sympathy that once shielded him, gone, replaced with questions. Why was Chrissy the one protecting his money? Why did his son have to expose his own grandmother? Why did Camron walk in laughing like he already knew how this movie ended? But Chrissy wasn't done. Later that night, her verified PR account dropped another voice note. This one, Jim himself. Clear, unfiltered, emotional. You could hear the weight in his voice. "I love my mother, but I can't protect her from the truth anymore. Chrissy didn't ruin this family, she tried to save it, and I didn't listen." The internet went nuclear. People were crying in comment sections. One user wrote, "This ain't even about Dipset anymore. This is about every black woman who gets blamed for trying to help a man too blind to see his own sabotage." Another said, "Chrissy didn't break Harlem. Harlem broke Chrissy." And just like that, the final shift happened. Within 24 hours, Mama Jones' Instagram went dark. VH1 removed multiple love and hip-hop clips from their YouTube page. Camron posted one last story, black screen, white text, "Told y'all, loyalty over legacy." And Chrissy, she posted a full legal statement, announcing she would be pursuing damages for defamation, financial harm, and emotional distress. It was signed by her attorney and ended with 6 words that sent chills down spines across the internet. "Silence protected you. Now truth exposes you." The fallout is still happening. Lawsuits are pending. Deals are collapsing. Reputations are shredded. And what started as just another reality TV love triangle has officially become one of the wildest court dramas Harlem's ever seen. But the biggest plot twist of all, Chrissy didn't just survive, she won. Not with tears. Not with drama, with evidence, patience, and a timing so savage it deserves its own season. And now we ask you, what would you have done in Chrissy's shoes? Would you have stayed quiet? Protected a legacy that never protected you? Or would you have dropped the files and let the truth speak louder than all the lies? Because if this saga proves anything, it's that when a woman holds the receipts, empires fall. And in the ruins, justice rises. So buckle up, because something tells us this wasn't the end, just the season finale. If you're still here after all that tea, let's make one thing clear: this is the type of content they don't want you to see. So like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss another scandal, another betrayal, or another truth bomb they tried to bury. Because in our world, the files always leak, and the receipts never lie. Receipts never lie. So now that the court's been cleared, the cameras kicked out, and the lies laid bare, what do you think really went down? Are you Team Chrissy, standing 10 toes down with the woman who carried the truth like a loaded weapon in her purse? Or are you still holding the line for Mama Jones, convinced this is all just one big smear campaign cooked up by a bitter ex and a bored Camron with too much time on his hands? And let's not forget Jim silent, missing in action, Instagram, candle cryptic. Is he the confused victim of a family gone rogue? Or did he let this all burn to avoid choosing sides? Because let's be honest, when your own son testifies against your mother for your ex, baby, that ain't a storyline. That's Shakespeare with better lighting. Drop your take in the comments. Was Chrissy holding Harlem down all along? Did Camron really know this whole thing was going to implode like a Dipset mixtape with no mastering? Or is there still another twist waiting in some cloud drive about to be leaked on Twitter by a burner account named Chrissy Got Receipts 88? And if you're here for the drama, the truth bombs, the shady screenshots, and the kind of family mess that even VH1 can't script, then do the smart thing. Like this video, share it with the one friend who swore Mama Jones was innocent, and hit that subscribe button like Chrissy hit the courtroom with facts and a full face of revenge. Because in this channel, we don't sip tea. We pour it, label it, and play the audio files. And trust me, the next bombshell's already uploading.